I've set it so automatically record. Hello, Elvis. Good evening.
Yeah, hello, good evening, Adeyemi.
Yeah, good evening. I had
We'll
to
start.
log out.
We'll
I
start
don't
very
know. I
soon.
think
We
you
are waiting
set
for
it.
the others.
Yeah, I understand. I noticed that it was just recording, so I had to step outside. I was already in at first.
We'll wait for the others to join, and then we can start whilst I set up. Hello, good evening, everyone. We are all welcome. Very soon we'll start. We are waiting for the others to join. When it's 8:04, we'll start with that.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Manu, and I'm going to be your moderator for today's section. I'm so glad to see all of you over here. Though we are waiting for the others to join, but I would like us to continue on, and they will join us during the event or the webinar. So on our program outline, the first thing, as we always do, is we take a prayer session, then we proceed to the main agenda for the day, which is the panel discussion. And today we are going to talk about one of the most important things that we should all be mindful of, or we should look for or look into when applying for graduate school. You can get your admission, but if your visa is not approved, you are not going anywhere. So we want to avoid this kind of situation. That is why this webinar today especially is very, very important and pivotal in our 8-week journey or 8-week bootcamp. And surprisingly, today is the 7th week. So we have one more to go, then we will wrap it up beautifully. And thank you for being with us all throughout all this journey. So without wasting my time, I will call on Mr. Elvis to give us or usher us into a moment of prayer. So Elvis, please, if you're online, kindly unmute and let us hear you.
All right, thank you, Nicholas. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for our life. We thank you for everything you have done, continue to do, and have been doing for us. We thank you because your word makes us understand that we should give thanks to the Lord for his good and that his mercies endureth forever. And so your children, we say we are forever grateful for your mercies. We come before the throne of grace, thanking you for how far you have brought us. How far you have brought us all these 7 weeks, but yet you have met another week to talk about a process in this whole graduate school application stuff. That you, Lord, have been with us. You have journeyed with us. You have given us great speakers, people who have enlightened us, people who have guided us. To come before the throne of grace this evening, we ask that you continue to strengthen us as listeners and also bless our speakers of wisdom that as they speak, they'll speak life into us, they'll speak wisdom and knowledge into us, so that when we are applying to schools, we are being guided. When we are applying to schools, we are going to get into schools and everything is going to be successful. So at the end, we give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the adoration. We bless your holy name. We thank you for everything you have done for us. In Jesus' name, we have prayed with thanksgiving. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis, for that prayer. So, as I said earlier, my name is Jima Nicholas, and today we are going to discuss about graduate school visa application and some important things you should know. I always cherish moments like this because we bring thoughtful speakers who have journeyed throughout the intricacies of this visa application, and they know how they felt during this particular experience, and they are here today to share their journey with us for us to imbibe and learn much more from. So I would like you to stay tuned and listen to us and pick some important nuggets from this very conversation. Today, we are very fortunate to have 3 great and amazing speakers over here. We've already had 2 of them in our previous sessions, and I would briefly introduce them. So my first panelist today is a distinguished Ghanaian theologian and scholar. He's currently pursuing doctoral studies at the Catholic Theological Union in Chicago, USA. He holds a Master of Philosophy in Religious Studies from the University of Ghana, and his academic journey actually reflects a deep commitment to exploring the intersection of indigenous African religious traditions and contemporary theological discourse. His scholarly works delves into the integration of Akan indigenous concept of religion, particularly the understanding of Nyame with the supreme deity within the broader context of interreligious relations in Ghana. In a notable publication co-authored with Dr. Cosmos Ebusaba, he examines how the enduring influence of traditional spiritual value coexists with Christianity and Islam among the Akan people, advocating for harmonious interfaith dialogue that respects indigenous beliefs. Beyond academia, he serves as a director of interreligious dialogue for the Catholic Archdiocese of Cape Coast, which is my very archdiocese, who is in Cape Coast, Ghana. In this role, he facilitates conversations between diverse religious communities, promoting mutual understanding and collaboration. His expertise encompasses philosophy of religion, religious education, and psychology of religion, positioning him as a vital contributor to the discussion of faith and cultural identity. His dedication to theological education and interfaith engagement underscores his belief in the transformative power of dialogue and education in fostering peaceful coexistence. His work continues to inspire both academic circles and religious communities, bridging gaps between traditional and modernity in the pursuit of spiritual and societal harmony. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Anane Adjei Manson. Hello, Mr. Anane, please, are you on the call?
Yeah, I'm around.
Okay, thank you very much. We are so glad to have you today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, sure. So I proceed to invite my second panelist for today, and it's someone we've had on the call before. He's an accomplished academic and researcher currently pursuing his second PhD at the University of, I always have a problem mentioning this particular university, Saskatchewan in Canada, after his first postgraduate studies at the GSA University in China. He is recognized for his significant contributions to the field of education, particularly in the context of school management and its impact on the students' academic performance. His research investigates the nexus between school management functions and students' academic performance, specifically in public senior high schools in the Ashanti region of Ghana. His work emphasizes the importance of effective management practices in enhancing educational outcomes. He is also the founder of BDM Spotlight series, a LinkedIn page where he highlights the accomplishments of African scholars and professionals, celebrating their contributions and fostering a community of inspired talent across Africa and beyond, highlighting resilience, excellence, and innovation. He was awarded a scholarship to present his research at the AI for International Conference on Education in Hawaii, highlighting his commitment to academic excellence and interdisciplinary study. He has also been involved in various academic and community initiatives, contributing to the discourse on education and management in Ghana. He is passionate about improving educational systems and advocating for effective management practices that can lead to better student academic performance. His work aims to inspire change and foster a culture of excellence in education. Please, once again, help me welcome Dr. Blessing Manu. Hello, Dr. Blessing. All right, I'm told he will join us very shortly. And then I continue to invite our last panelist for today, my very own school mother, I call her. She is a passionate and driven finance professional who is currently pursuing a Master of Science in Finance and Investment at the University of Bradford in United Kingdom, with a keen interest in financial markets, investment strategies, and sustainable economic growth. She brings both academic insights and practical experience to the table of discussion, which we are making today, which makes her a standard voice in the conversation around international education and career development in finance. Her journey began at the University of Ghana Business School, where she graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Banking and Finance. During her time there, she developed a strong foundation in corporate finance, financial reporting, and banking operations, skills that have been instrumental in shaping her early career. Professionally, she had worked as a domestic operation, national service personnel at the Ghana Export-Import Bank in Accra. Her role involved supporting trade finances initiatives, managing transactions, and assisting with operational strategies to support Ghanaian exporters and investors. This experience not only deepened her understanding of financial systems in emerging markets, but also strengthened her problem-solving and analytical abilities in real-world contexts. Now studying in the UK, she is a vocal advocate for global education and women's empowerment in finance. She actively engages in discussions on navigating graduate school applications, scholarship opportunities, and transitioning from local to international academic environment. Her story is one of perseverance, strategic planning, and a deep belief in the power of education as a tool for economic transformation. She is also a proud PAX UG alumnus, and during her days as an undergrad, she was a president of Lectures Ministry in PAX UG, my personal mentor and advisor. Please help me welcome Miss Georgina Obeng, MSc Finance and Investment, University of Bradford. Miss Georgina, please, good evening.
Hi.
Hi, so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so today, as I said, we are going to discuss about some important strategies or things in the graduate school application. We are going to tackle one which is very crucial, which is the visa and immigration processes. Because as I said, you can get your admission, you can get everything right, but if your visa is not approved, you are not going anywhere. So that is why this particular call or this particular event is very, very necessary. So once again, we're going to discuss about the visa and immigration processes after you've gained your admission to your preferred school. So we have three thoughtful speakers who will be joining today's conversation. As I introduce them, we have Ms. Georgina Obeng, and Mr. Manson, Anane, Adjei, and Dr. Blessing Manu, who will be joining us today on this to contribute and share their expertise on this very important subject matter that we are going to be having today. So what we are going to look at, we are going to look at the overview of the visa application process for Canada and the US and the requirements and timelines for student visa. And also there will be a Q&A session on visa related concerns. But today our icebreaker is quite unique, which is a two-way thing from both our panelists and our audience, right? So our panelists will share, please, when I call you, you share one surprising thing you wish someone had told you before your visa interview. And after that, for the fun of it, you tell us the very first meal you ate or you had when you landed in your host country, which is the country that you are right now. Please, I hope everything is clear.
Yes,
All
it
right.
is.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it's
thank you
clear.
very much. Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Manson, please can you take the lead for us? So you share with us one surprising thing you wish someone had told you before your visa application or visa interview, and for the fun of it, the very first meal you had when you landed in your new country.
All right. So this is kind of tricky to me because I did everything myself, from the start to the end. And mostly what I do is that I know something or hear something, I read around it, and then I ask. So the whole process was I was just going through. And the funny aspect was that I went for my interview in Togo. I mean, US Embassy in Togo. And so I was supposed to report on 31st, but I went on 30th, which they sent me an email that you come on 30th for the interview. I got there, waited for like 45 minutes. They called me, they were like, what are you doing here? I said, I have an interview. So, which interview? Because we've shut the system, we've closed, nobody's here for interview. So I thought it was kind of a scam. I got a scam mail or something. So I showed them the email, it took inside, read it out and told me, oh, you're supposed to come in, the interview is supposed to be the next day. So I should go and come back. So apparently I didn't experience anything like which I didn't know what other experience I went through before going there. And I was always watching YouTube, looking at people's interviews, what they have done, what they went through and those stuff. When I got here, what did I eat? I was fortunate, I was hosted by a Ghanaian. He's also a student. So I think the first week I was only eating food because I didn't want to eat his food and everything. Yeah, they should because I didn't know that. So I only ate food. So it wasn't anything strange. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think we could really struggle. We were struggling hearing you. I think the voice wasn't very. There was some technical breakages. So please, if you could check it for us, we'll be very, very grateful. But we were able to hear you, but not. Yeah. So there is some. We couldn't really hear you well.
Is it okay now?
It's not really. We can't not really audible. Like there are some breakages. It's not really clear.
Let me know as we go on if it's not clear
Okay,
afterwards.
sure. Okay, so Miss Georgina, please, if you could also let us know one surprising thing you wish you had known during your visa interview or before your visa interview, and the first meal you ate right when you landed in Bradford.
Okay, thank you very much. So for mine, the process of applying for my visa was very smooth, and there were no hiccups, no problems, or anything like that. And I think what surprised me most about it was the fact that I didn't have to have an interview before getting my visa, because before then, what I had heard was that you need to have your visa interview, and if you don't take it, you might get rejected and a whole lot. So I really prepared for that. But then when I decided to apply to a school in the UK and I got it and I started with the whole process, and that's when I saw that for schools in the UK, you don't need to have a visa interview before you get your visa. So that's surprising. It was a nice surprise actually. So yeah, and for the
That's
food,
beautiful.
for the food that I ate when I landed, so when I landed, someone came to pick me up from the airport, and they took me to a restaurant, and I had here what they call chicken and chips. So it's a native dish here, and it was okay. I mean, I didn't enjoy it as much because I was so hungry and I wanted something like fufu or banku. But then that's what they gave me.
Wow.
So I just for it like that. And yeah, it was
Oh,
okay. But then
okay. Okay.
luckily for me, I can cook. So later on, I think the next day or 2 days after, I was able to make fufu. I was so happy about that
Wow.
too.
Wow. Okay. That is beautiful. I mean, so for those of us who are now learning to cook, please make sure you're able to cook, else you're going to eat something you don't like. Thank you very much for sharing with us. Okay, Dr. Blessing, please, are you here now? Hello, Doc. Okay, and I'm told Mr. Manson has a meeting, so we would quickly go with his questions so that he'll be able to make it in time for his meeting. So, Mr. Manson, so please, I'll be asking you some questions, which is about you sharing your journey as an MPhil PhD theology student in the US. So, I want to know, faith often serves actually as a compass during big life transition, right? So I want to know, how did your religious belief support or shape your journey through the US visa process?
All right, so I'm a career member, and when we go to the other side of the church, I am a Marian devotee, and
Awesome.
I always recite my rosary every day. When I hit any blog and I go like, I don't know what to do, I just go on my knees. There are two sides. Either I pray out loud or I pray the rosary. In fact, Adoration Chapel was something else. Whenever I'm on campus, I try my possible best to be at the Adoration Chapel. The whole journey had not been smooth. I mean, when we go forward, we'll talk about that. But then I really believe that it was God's doing, because some of the things I had easily, which people were complaining were challenges, I had them easily. But I think it's all because of the grace, you know. So you can, well, for me, and also being a theologian, I don't think you can deny that part. You can't exist without it. I mean, it really form a pillar in the whole process. You need God. You really need God. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Sorry, I had muted myself and I was talking. So you really, really need God. Please, you've all been told today. And please, my audience, I gave you a task earlier. We want to know one thing you are most curious about or a little bit nervous about when it comes to visa processes. So please kindly drop that. Do me a favor by dropping that in the chat box, the messages side for me. Okay. So thank you very much for that explanation, for telling us that God is very central or a key figure when it comes to the visa application process and everything that we do. And there's also a common fact that many theology students fear that their area of study is too niche, like not really seen as a high priority by immigration authorities, right? So I want to know, how did you frame your theological pursuit to actually show value and seriousness in your visa document?
All right. So, okay, what helped me was that there was a link from my documentation, purpose of study, my sponsorship. I didn't get a full sponsorship. I got 50% scholarship. So the remaining 50%, I had to prove that, I have that fund. But, that one too. So I had somebody's financial statement. And that one was also in the religious sector. It was a church related, theologically related. So all those niche went together. And then the question they are mostly interested in, which is kind of home tie or yes, what will bring you back or future plans was what will you do after school based on what you're going to study? And everything was like, I'm coming back to teach in the seminary. So everything has to link in that area. Your specialty, whatever you're going to study, has to match. It has to be systematic in that order. So I can't tell you I'm going to study theology, and then they ask you, after that, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to go and teach at a science school or at a mathematical school or something. It has to link. So your area of specialty has to link to, okay, even if I had come home and I'm not going to teach, what are you going to do? Or maybe I'm going to pastor a church. I'm going to join the fetish priest to establish something. I mean, it has to link to the area of speciality.
Okay.
So that's a key
Okay.
question they are mostly interested in. I coached somebody who got bounced last month because according to them, she couldn't prove her speciality and by what she's going to use that to do when she's done with school.
Okay.
So they are very
Okay.
key on that.
Oh, okay. That is beautiful, and thanks for sharing that. So my follow-up question to that, especially with the context of someone who has been bounced, right? So we know that getting bounced by a visa committee or like an interview committee can be very, very stressing, especially if your deadline is drawing very near and you really need to make it in time. Okay, so what would you say to a student who has faced visa denial, perhaps maybe multiple times, right? And the person is questioning whether international education is truly accessible to them. You see, if you receive many bounces, you think that maybe the house witches are behind you or something like that. So what would you say to such a student who is in such a situation?
So my best friend here now, the guy I met here, he also completed University of Ghana with me, 2013. But we never knew each other. We were in sociology class, Father Trustful's class, but we never knew each other. So we only met here. This guy was bounced 3 times. He was granted a visa on the 4th one.
Wow.
Now, I have been using his story around. The first 3 he was bounced, he wasn't getting, I mean, all the admissions were not kind of full package. But the last one he got, which was the 4th one, now there's a guy who got a full tuition, housing, stipend, and he's able to work on campus and they even pay him.
Wow.
So now that is one aspect. My other friend, who was an SHS classmate, who is also in Maryland, was also bounced, not only in US, Denmark, Finland. I mean, he was bounced, I mean, 4 or 5 embassies.
A whole list.
Finally, he made it to US. He is also having full tuition, free housing. He got a job with the housing he is staying in on campus. Like, so he's kind of, let's say, he is a hall master or something. Wow. Now, this guy is also working and he's being paid. Sometimes when you are being bounced in a way, which even clear, this one, you have a scholarship, they should give it to you and they bounce you. It's not, the timing of God is different from our timing.
Okay.
That's the only key. God has a time for each and every individual. So when your time is up, when your time is up, in fact, you're only going to try this one. I'm fed up. I'm only going to try. That's the day they'll give it to you. The days you have really put in your heart, everything, that's the day they bounce you.
Okay.
But when you think all is, let me just go and try something, that's when God, and whenever God is giving you that package, he gives you a full package with everything in it. So every bounce is a waiting process. God is telling you, take your time is not up. But we are human beings. If you are bouncing and it doesn't affect you, then you're not a human being. It should affect you, but you don't have to be there. You have to get up and move on. That is it.
Okay.
So it's part of the process. Just admit that the bouncing is part of the process. So it's not a do or die affair. So when you go and they grant it, praise him. But if you go and they tell you no, that means God is saying go and prepare for another place or the same place, but your time is not up. So let's work according to God's clock, not our clock.
Okay. Thank you very much for letting us know there's that. Bouncing doesn't mean that you should give up. Try and try again. Maybe the last one that is coming with a full package that you wouldn't really know about. So thank you very much. So my follow-up question on that is that we know that US is quite political sensitive when it comes to religious matters, right? And I want to know your perspective. Do you believe that religious identity can actually be a barrier or a strength when applying for visas, especially in political sensitive contexts like the United States?
So in terms of religious barrier, what are we looking at?
So I'm looking at maybe you being you are going to do something religion related, right? So I want to know if such a thing could actually be a barrier or a strength when it comes to visa application processes.
So you know that when I was in Ghana, mostly when somebody asked me what I studying, masters in religion, what they call it? I got my admission. What I'm going to do in doctorate in theology, what they call it? I don't person so fun. I mean, these are the perspectives. And interesting enough, I came here, and those who are in the religious schools, most of them are lay people. Their churches are, I mean, even not only the Catholic church, their churches are structured that we have the pastor, I mean, the father only takes maybe 10% of the whole church administration. The remaining 90 are lay people who are paid full time.
Wow.
So this is a country, and way back when I was in Ghana, we used to have that. I mean, the whites are not religious. You know, these people, hey, don't lie to yourself. They are very emotional.
Okay.
Yes, that they don't publicize the way we do in our back home. I mean, we always, I mean, those who go to church are those we see are religious, but here they are more religious in their own sect, in their own ways.
Okay.
So going to study religion or a religious related course in the US, there's a prospect for you. I mean, after it, you have a job, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Thank you.
so that one is not only limited to church or or shrine.
Okay. Thank you. So I want to also ask: do you face any visa interview? Were you interviewed during your process? Your before getting
US, I think it's only when I think under 10 years old, those are the people they don't interview, or maybe they aged or maybe special some. But yes, you go to interview.
Okay, so thank you for listening. Okay, so if you did, what kind of question were you asked, and how do you actually prepare for this particular interview?
Good. I think mostly the questions they mostly will ask has to do with these are common questions, and they are structured in the way of 4, and it can be asked in a different angle, but mostly it's around this area. Why do you want to study US? Why this university? Who is sponsoring your education? What are your plans after graduate? These 4 questions. You can be asked, I mean, all the questions are related to these 4, but it can be asked in a different model, but it's related to these 4. Why US? Why this university? Who is paying for it? Which is funding? And then after graduation, you also your plans. So why US mostly has to do with they want to know your perspective, where the area you're going to, you even know where you're going to and those stuff. What do you know about US? Why this particular university? Because there are many universities that want you need to. It has to do with maybe your program of study, why you're going to study that course, or maybe because of how they receive foreign students, how international students are granted the opportunity to take up roles and those things. One thing which helped me was that the vice president of the union, I mean, Catholic Theological Union, is a Nigerian. He's a black man. So I use that one as a yardstick, you know. And also in the same Catholic institution, the director for my program is a Muslim.
Wow.
So that means they blend. So I mean, I use this at my advantage. And then the another question is, who is sponsoring you? That means how are you going to fund your education? They don't want you to be a burden. Most people are denied visa because of this sponsorship. You should be able to prove that, yeah, you can take care of yourself. And the person who is going to take you. Now, the US Embassy is fed up. They are tired of my uncle. Everybody seems to go with my uncle. I mean, because the financial statement is not yours, somebody's own. Then you go like, my uncle that he works here, he's sponsoring. They are fed up. They have heard that word, so they are tired. And then the last one is home tie. Home ties mostly has to do with plans after graduation. So if after graduation, I plan of applying to US based on your course, I apply to maybe one of the churches in US, then they deny you. You have to prove to them that yes, you come back home and use whatever you study, because the F1, the whole idea of the F1 is for people to go back to their countries and then put whatever they have learned into action. So these 4 questions are the key questions, but it can be asked based on the person asking you anyhow. And these are the areas you have to look at.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So I'll ask you, I think one last question, then we will leave you to go and prepare for your next meeting, and so to be able to make it in time also. So I want to know from your experience, how important is your statement of purpose or admission letter in strengthening one's visa application?
Okay, so I think US, I don't think there's a statement of purpose. No.
Okay, okay.
So,
What about the okay.
Okay, I think US, let me just brush this generally. The whole process for US application is in 4 folds. There are 4. I have categorized into 4. The first one is just get admitted, and then your school will issue an I-20 to you. I-20 is a form which is given to you, which indicates your F1 status in this country. Your visa stamp, your passport can even expire. But if you have the I-20, you can enter any office. With that one, you are legal entry. You are having a legal status in here. So you can use that. But if you want to leave the country and come back, that's where you need them to upgrade your passport. Stamp a new visa, which is not expired. So you need that I-20 from your institution. And before your institution must release that one, they need a financial proof. So the first financial statement you have to send to that school. If you're on full scholarship, that one, I don't think you need that. They'll just send you your I-20. And then the next one is you fill your DS-160. That thing many people have been denying visas because of that DS-160. DS-160 is a whole, let's say, myself. So questions are there from school to parents to work to everything. You fill everything. But interesting enough, students don't want to fill that form. They want connection man to fill it. Who put any information there? So when you go there, what you are saying is different from the system. And that has been the reason many people. After having filled your, but that one, you don't even need to fill everything.
So I think someone is Bukari, please could you mute for us? Bukari D. Jordan.
Good evening.
Please kindly mute for us, okay? Kindly mute Bukari so that we can hear our guests. Okay. So Mr. Manson, you can continue.
So the next one is so the DS-160, you just generate it and you have a code. Now you use that code to apply for your visa depending on the embassy you want to go to. Now Togo has opened up for Ghanaians to go there. And I think I would definitely advise people to go to Togo than Ghana. What is happening now in our country is very bad. And then having gotten that, when you got your visa date and it's drawing nearer, you pay your service fee and then you go for your interview. That's all.
Okay.
The process is not cumbersome as we see it from afar. It is very simple.
Okay.
Very simple that you, Nicholas, you can do it yourself. That you don't need anybody to guide.
Okay.
So just go to Google. What are the procedures when you want to apply for a visa for a student from Ghana? They tell you, you need this, you need that. And that's all. You just follow that process. Apply for one. Get your I-20. Now, start with the DS-160. Just generate it. And that one, when you leave it for 30 days without going there, it expires. So when maybe every 3 days, you just go in, edit one thing, save, and then that gives you extra 30 days, and then you keep on doing that. So these are mostly the issue. But the DS-160 is very key. People don't feel it themselves, so you don't get to know what you are saying at the embassy. At the embassy, you might be saying you are single because your connection man asks you to say you are single, or you even know you are single. But the guy has added somebody to you so that when it goes, that person will also be used as a means to get there. So you are telling them the consular you are single, but in the system you are married.
Okay.
So these are some of the things, and this mostly call for people higher and people's bouncing.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Manson, for making time to join us amid your busy and tight schedules. So this will be all our questions for you for now. And if you have any other one, we will test you later for much more clarification. So my audience, please, anybody having a question pertaining what Mr. Manson just gave us? If you have a question, kindly ask him. He's quite time pressed.
Yeah, I can be here for like 9 minutes, so you can ask me anything.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. So I'll move on to my other panelists to involve them in the conversation. Okay, so if you are here, then I think I'll ask you one more question before you finally vanish off. So I want to know, what are some of the, I think you mentioned some document, I didn't really get the name correctly, the D1 160 or something, and you mentioned that you would advise that Ghanaians go to Togo to do that. Can you really explain that into details for us so that we'll be able to know what you really meant by that?
So essential documents you need for your interview has to do with your passport, your I-20, your DS-160. So so the I-20 and DS-160 are very key. You need to pay your service fee, which is, as at now, $350. And that one you don't pay to your institution, you pay to the US system itself. And then you need your admission letter to prove that you are indeed been admitted to whatever institution you're going to, financial documents, and all academic documents. And then lastly, any proof of ties to your home country. So that one, it can be anything. I mean, it can be appointment letter from maybe your institution or your facility telling you that you have to go there. I mean, you should come back for a job when you're done. Now, what I was saying people should go to Togo is that previously, before I left Ghana, which was last year, Togo Embassy, before you can apply for a visa from that place as a Ghanaian or as non-Togolese, you have to write to them, send them an email stating your situation, and then they will reply you on two answers. Either yes, come, or you have been given this particular day and time. If you want, come. So mostly this is it. But now, as I'm talking to you, they've made it open. Anybody at all can apply to Togo. You just have to go through the system, indicate that you are not a Togolese, and then you fill the form, pay the visa fee, look for the available dates. Now, I checked yesterday, the available dates they have in Togo is in August. Ghana is not having a date. The last time I checked, Ghana wasn't having a date. But I don't know if they have also released date for appointment. One advantage about Togo is that when you go there for the interview, they take all, before you go and do the biometric, they take your fingerprints and everything. And then they ask you for your documents. They take all your documents.
Hey, another person. Suleimana, please, can you mute for us? Hold on, I'm coming. Suleiman, please kindly mute for us, okay? Albert, kindly mute him. I can't mute him from here.
So
all
they
right,
take
all your
documents. So Togo will take all your documents and send them to the back door and do whatever they have to do. So the advantage is that before they come out, they already have taken 50% decision on you. And then the remaining whatever percentage you need to be granted a visa has to do with your confidence level, able to articulate yourself, tell them indeed. Some people also go to the embassies with robotic attitude, like robots. So when you ask them a question, sometimes like, what did you, the man can veer from the whole thing and ask you, what did you eat this morning? So I'm going to US to study theology. So that means you have, it's happening.
In your head.
You have chewed and then you are not thinking. So this is somebody who has been coached. Instantly you are bounced. I mean, that one, it only takes the grace for them to not to hear what you are even saying and then ask you genuine questions and then move on. So this is it. So Togo, you can go there and that's it. I mean, it's convenient. The only challenge is going to be like you crossing the border, which shouldn't be an issue. But even that one, when you're crossing, make sure they stamp your passport. Because even Togo, where you don't need a visa, you are going through back door. The US, you need a visa. Then that means you won't come back. So these are some of the things. If you
Okay,
go and
alright.
then they don't stamp, they also. So yeah, I mean, personally, I'll be around. I mean, I can coach anybody who wants to go. But if I'm coaching, I don't do anything. I only tell you what to do.
Okay.
That's one
Okay.
thing I've realized. People want you to, in fact, fill everything for them, write everything for them. How are you able to tell somebody else when they need your help?
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So to my audience, that's why I always cherish moments like that. You get to the free mentorship, okay? With people who have actually walked through the journey and they share their experience with you and coach you on that. So you can take advantage of this huge opportunity. All right. So Miss Georgina, please, are you still available?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello. All right, thank you very much, and glad you've waited for us till this far. So, you were a former GE Exim bank staff, right, as an NSP. So, I want to know, how did your professional experience at the bank actually enhance your student visa application? Also, did it help you frame a clear career narrative in your document? Can you really share your experience, how you were able to balance all these?
Okay, thank you very much. So I would say the journey started. So I began my service in November 2023, and before even starting, I had decided that after my service, I would like to continue my studies. So that is with my master's abroad. I had made that decision. So after I made that decision, now I had to put plans into place, like what I'll be doing and blah blah blah. And that involved research. So I did all my research. I applied for schools and all that. And by God's grace, in January of 2024, I was able to secure admission with the school I'm in now. So, but then the thing is that in order to ensure that all these things went smoothly, I had to inform those I was working with, because when it came to gathering some of the documents for my application for the school and also with the visa, I had to leave office at times to go either back to school or to wherever to try to get my documents. And my bosses had to know, because I can't just up and leave. Yeah, so they were very much involved in the whole process, and especially when it came to my visa application. So regarding the course that I chose to pursue, which is a master's in finance and investment, I decided on that because of the experiences and things I learned and saw whilst I was at the bank. And what I was involved in. So with this exposure, I was able to make the decision with regards to the course I wanted to pursue. So that's the role they played in that. Have I
Okay.
answered?
Yeah, exactly. You perfectly answered my question. Thank you very much for that. And I'm told Dr. Blessing just joined the call with us. Dr. Blessing, please welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Sorry, Nico. I'm about to leave. Can I make a correction?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Kindly
It's my
do that for.
boss, Dr. Saba, who is the director for Catholic Muslim Relation in Cape Coast. I'm not the one.
Please, sir.
When I check on my profile, I realize you said I'm the director for Catholic Muslim Relation in the
Okay.
Adjei. I'm not the
Okay,
one.
so,
It's Father Saba, who is the one, my
okay.
boss.
Oh, okay. Sorry, so sorry for that. Thank you for the correction,
All
sir.
right. And
All right.
I wish you all the best. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you very much, and glad we had you join us. All the best to you. Okay, so Dr. Blessing, please, once again, welcome and thank you for making time to join us. I think this is the second time over here, second time having you on this particular insightful session. And I have a question for you. We know that one of the common reasons for visa denials is actually insufficient proof of financial support. So we want to know, beyond the official sponsors letters or sponsorship letters, what are some creative but legitimate strategies students can employ to actually demonstrate financial capacity in a circumstance where maybe the family resources are limited? Maybe you've received your visa. So what step can someone actually take in preparing for departure? So first, I want to know if your funds are insufficient, what are some creative but legitimate strategies that you can employ? And my follow-up question is, after you've received your visa, what are some steps you can actually take in preparing for departure in a situation where the finances are not really stable like that?
Just give me some few minutes, okay? I'm at work and I have to just sign off. So I'll just jump on it very soon, okay? I'm just signing off and then I'll just join, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Then I come to you again, and Miss Georgina. Okay. So I want to know, was there any aspect of the UK visa students process that caught you off guard, something that made you go wow, like something you underestimated or misunderstood? Can you really share such a thing with us so that we also stay on guard for that?
Okay, so thank you for the question. So like I mentioned earlier, with the visa process for schooling in the UK, it's not as complicated or as complex as with some other embassies. It's actually quite simple, and especially with the research that I did before applying. So, and let me just state that before you start with the visa process, I would advise that you make contact with a student in the school that you are going to. So you can do that via LinkedIn. You can search for someone already there, or you can do what I did, which was that I reached out to the school and I asked them if they could connect me with a Ghanaian student currently in the school and pursuing my course so that I could have a discourse with them. And they said, okay. So yeah, that helped a lot with the process because I was able to debunk certain things I had heard. I was able to get rid of certain doubts that I had, and I went through the process smoothly. So nothing really surprised me like that. Like I was fully prepared. I had all my documents and everything set, and I went through the process and I got my visa. So, yeah.
Okay, that is beautiful. Especially with taking the initiative to actually reach out with a student already there and knowing much more to make your journey very smooth. That is very, very beautiful. So I also want to know about this particular thing. Can you actually talk to us about any specific financial documents you submitted for your UK visa and any tips on how students can actually structure bank statements or get sponsorship approved?
Okay, sure. So when you are applying for with the UK visa application process, because you don't because there's no interview for the visa, you have to make sure that all the documents you submit are intact. Everything is like correct. Okay, there are no mistakes anywhere. There's no ambiguity anywhere. And with regards to the financial documents, personally, I was able to secure funding, a scholarship. And when I submitted that, it covered for the whole period of my stay, like as a student. So I didn't have to submit a bank statement. But then from what I know, when you are submitting a bank statement, you have to ensure that your proof of funding is enough to cover for your tuition fees and for your living expenses or your stipends during the time that you be a student. So with that, it depends on you, your family or your relatives, whoever you think can help in sponsoring you. So that it gets a little tricky, and I understand where you're coming from, but then I can't really give specific advice on that unless it depends on your situation. Yeah, if you come on an individual basis, I can advise you on that. But then if you want a general way of trying to sort that out, I can't give that information now. But then all I need funding, enough money to cover the time period that you'll be studying. And it's usually the visa covers for a year and 4 months. A year and 4 months as a student and a little bit after to graduate. So you have to make sure that money that you are showing in your bank statement as proof covers that period in order to be eligible.
Wow, that is beautiful. So if I get you correctly, it means that it means that all the money that's the money in your bank statement or the money in your account should be able to cater for the entire 4 year, the entire period of your graduate school of being a graduate student. So a year and maybe a half after graduation.
No, that's not what I said. So the program in UK, most of the master's programs are just for a year. It's a year course, majority of them, unless it's a research-based or placement or a PhD. But if it's a master's course you are coming to read, it's mostly for a year. But the visa, when you apply for the visa and you get it, it covers for that year that you are coming to study, plus 4 months after the year period is over. Okay, are you getting me?
Yeah,
So
I get it.
you have time to do your graduation, and in some cases, if you decide you want to stay in the UK, you would have to switch onto a different visa. So it gives you enough time to do all those changes. I hope you get it. So you have
I get you.
So you have to have enough money to cover your tuition fees plus the living expenses. And with the tuition fee, before you even apply, you have to make a deposit to your school for part of the fees, the tuition fees. They will let you know the amount you have to pay. So this is for somebody who has no scholarship or anything like that. So you make a deposit of an amount of money to the school before you apply for your visa. So it means that the money that you will show in your
Yeah, I get you.
amount with minus that amount. So it will be the rest of the amount of your tuition fees, because it's assumed when you come to the UK, that's the money you'll be using to pay for the rest of your tuition. Then in addition to that, you have your the money for your living expenses. So for your rent, your food, transport, and all that. And with that money, it's already calculated on the website. That's the UK government website for immigration and all that. So when you go on there, depending on where your school is located, if it's located in London or it's located outside London, but in the UK area, the amount is there. So you will check the amount, then calculate it based on how long you'll be staying to study. Then the amount you get is what you are supposed to show as proof when you are applying for the visa. And it has to be in your bank account for a minimum of 28 days or more. Okay, like consecutive 28 days or more. So it should be there. They should see that it's been there for that long before. If it's less than that, you might get rejected. So yeah, basically, yes.
That is beautiful. And I'm told Dr. Blessing is ready. So
yeah,
Doc,
I was sorry. Yes, I was able to get your question. Actually, I'm at work, so I had to just sign off and get things done and quickly jump on. So thank you very much. With your first question, you said, what if your funds are insufficient, right? What creative or legitimate strategies would you be? Okay. So I think that for me personally, what I used to say is that there should be combination of funds, funds of like sources. There shouldn't be like one stream, You know, like if you are having any sort of personal savings yourself or even your family, you know, you can add it. Or if there is any sort of like educational loans, you know, from let's say a recognized what institution like a bank or anything, you can also what? You can also you know, attach it as well to it. And also if anybody is willing to sponsor you, if I say anybody, maybe your relative, you know, you can also add it up, or maybe an NGO. You get it? If they are also willing to just what to, you know, help you in that regards. The only thing that you have to get is just get a letter, like an affidavit of support and proof of what their financial what capacity, and then you just attach it to your what your document. And also, if let's say for instance the institution that you've applied, I mean, they are willing to give you some sort of like bursaries or maybe some scholarship, you can also attach that as well. Personally, for me, when I applied, I mean, I had funding, so I attached the funding together with, I mean, my, you know, few like bank statement that I was having, and also, you know, like my few, I think, friends as well. Like, there was one particular relative that I attached him as well, together with my dad's, you know, institution, the kind of job and everything. And I attached all those documentation to it just to affirm it, even though they were saying that I could have just, you know, use daddies and also, I mean, just the school's what, I mean, the funding that was given to me, but I decided to just add those what people as well to that. So it can be your uncle or anybody else. And also, I also say that, let's say, for instance, there are people who probably might have or might know somebody here in Canada, you know. So I always say that, like, include in-kind support or documentation. What do I mean? Like, let's say, for instance, if it's like free accommodation, you have a member or maybe a relative here that you know of who is willing to, you know, support you in that regards. You just have to bring that proof of what relationship, and then you try to get a notarized support letter from that particular person who is here in Canada, and I mean his or her, let's say, employment proof, you know, that he's willing, or she or he is willing to just what to support you, so that when you come, I mean, you will not be what battling with a whole lot of what challenges regarding money or stuff like that. So I think those people too can also be in that regard to also what to assist you in that regard. But I always say that sometimes too, as a student, you also have to, in as much as you are checking for universities, you also have to look at universities, or maybe if it's colleges or whatever, make sure you're looking at the ones that have lower tuition. You get it? There are a lot of them. I mean, schools in provinces like Manitoba, like Newfoundland, you know, they all have lower living costs. You get it? So you have to consider those things as well, because if you are considering places like, let's say, British Columbia or Vancouver, or let's say, I mean, Ontario, all those places are kind of what, very expensive. So you just have to make sure that, I mean, you're looking at all those sectors what as well. And I think the second part, you indicated that after you have received your visa, what can you do if your finances aren't too stable before what, before departure? One thing that I say is that it's very good to delay your flight than to come here and for you to be what, for you to be stranded. It's very, very what? It's not a good thing at all. Like, there have been a lot of cases where there was one lady that actually came. She did not, I mean, actually do her homework properly, and she came and she ended up seeking for asylum because they were telling her that the next available flight is, I mean, they are sending her back to Ghana, and the lady too. I mean, based on, like, I mean, looking at the frustration that she felt like she was going through at the, you know, airport, she decided to just want to seek for what, for asylum. And as a result of that, she wasn't able to go to the school, and now her passport and everything needs to be seized. And they will just go through, you know, she has to get a lawyer for her to go through the process, you know. So, I mean, it's a little bit cumbersome some way, but I believe that it's best if you know that you are not fully prepared, just delay the travel if necessary. I mean, if your program start date allows, defer the enrollment to the next intake. You know, many schools permit one-time deferment, you know, so giving you that time to just to stabilize your finances properly. So I believe that you can look at that aspect as well. And I mean, of course, I mean, in Canada, you can work 24 hours in a week. Unlike some other countries that you can work 20 hours a week, in Canada, you can work 24 hours. If I say 24 hours, I mean, depending on the kind of job, if you want to go on like maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you elapse all the 24 hours, that's fine. But you don't need to work more than the 24 hours within that week, especially if academic sections are in progress. But if, let's say, if you're a master's student and as a master's student, let's say summer, so you have to, you go on vacation and all those things. So you can use that vacation period to just to work full time, and it's allowed here as well. And of course, there are some sort of research or teaching assistantship. That sometimes your supervisor can even, or even they can even put it on the university career sites that you can also apply. So all those are some of the key things that you can look up for. Especially if you think that finances is more or less like a problem. So those are some of the on-campus employment options that as a student you can also look, in that particular regard as well. And yeah, I also say that, everything that you are planning, plan for a very low cost arrival. Looking at the flights, if you know that you are preparing that you want to come to school here in Canada, try to be to be checking all the time. You don't just wait. Let's say if you have to just depart Ghana, let's say in July, you are just waiting till, let's say, it gets to maybe June, or definitely the prices are going to be very high. In terms of the amount that you have to pay. So I think that you, in as much as you plan of flying here, you have to avoid all sort of extra travel costs. So you make sure you book it on time, and then it helps you in that regard. So I think, that is what I would just say for now.
Thank you very much, Doc. But I have a follow-up. You mentioned one-time deferment. Can you please elaborate? I said that maybe you've gained admission already, but your finances are not up to. So they will allow you to, your application is still valid, your admission is still valid, and you'll be able to come the following year instead of this particular year. Can you please explain that part for me a bit?
Yeah, of course. A one-time deferment, it refers to the options that is provided by, I would say, many Canadian colleges or even universities, So for instance, you have been allowed, or you have been admitted, you're an admitted student, as an admitted student, you are allowed to just to postpone your program, but you have to communicate with the let's say the school secretary or your department secretary, to let them know, the reason why. That's why I was just making an emphasis regarding that particular lady like this. For her, what happened was that, yes, she had it, and she was not able to come the following that particular year. So what she did was that she indicated to the university that, no, she wants to come the following year. So that particular year, she's not willing to, because her finances and everything was not okay. So she indicated to them, and they said, yeah, okay, we have a spot for you like that. So next year, you can you can come, but you have to make sure you communicate to us to let us know when you are coming. So the thing was that this lady, instead of her to communicate it to them, she refused to. So she got to the airport, and the officer contacted the school, and the school said they had no seat for this particular person. You get it? So she should have indicated it to the school that she's coming on this particular day. You get it? That wouldn't have been a problem. So that made her, at this particular moment, for her to, seek the asylum, If not, if she should have informed the university, they would have indicated that, oh, yeah, her slot is still available. It's still active. So she can watch. They should go ahead and process a study permit and everything for her. So, yeah, that is that on the regard of and every student is I think, have that opportunity, I think, up to 1 year, without needing to reapply for admission.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Blessing, for that detailed explanation you give us. So I'll move on to Miss Georgina. Please, we want to know, you are now studying finance in the UK, and we want to know how you balance your academic expectation with any part-time job that you are doing. And I also want to know that with the kind of visa, can the kind of visa you are having actually, should I say, determine the number of hours you can take to work, or can your visa limit you to, should I say, specific work that you can do while studying on campus?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question. So, as a student here in the UK, you are only limited to 20 hours a week to work. And over here, from the research I've done so far, majority of the employers need people to work at least 22 hours a week or 25 hours a week. So it's not easy to find a 20-hour a week job to do. And unlike in other countries, there aren't a lot of jobs available on campus for you to do, but you can work outside campus, so you are not limited. Yeah, you are not limited. So for me personally, I've had jobs here and there, but I've not had like a consistent one yet. Because like I said earlier, it's not easy finding a job that you can do for just 20 hours. It's too small. So most of the times, what you can do is that you can join an agency here in the UK, and they will find you small jobs to do, or what we term as menial jobs to do. As you have said, that is more flexible for you to do. And so you can't come and be expecting to work in, like for me, since I'm from banking and finance, to work in the bank part-time. It's not possible because most of the jobs are full-time jobs and they are more than 20 hours. So you'd have to make do with other part-time work or zero contract hours work. Like either it's here we have something called steward or SIA work. That is security. So think of like a security officer. Yeah, that's what people do whilst they are studying. In Ghana, you see it as someone just like a gateman, but yeah, it's actually a very good job to have once you're able to. Here, there is the minimum wage, which is about almost 13 pounds. And it doesn't matter which job you do, that's how much you'll be paid. So it's not too bad once you're able to get something. Aside that, people do all manner of jobs. Some do cleaning, some do hospital or care work and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what we are doing to survive.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
regarding combining it with studies. So because I said it's 20 hours, you might not get the full 20 hours. You might get 15 hours, you might get 12 hours, 10 hours. It depends on you and which agency or company you are working with. So it's not difficult to combine it with your studies actually, because for me like this, I do 4 courses within a semester. And aside um, the credit hours for those courses, that is for tutorial and the main lectures, I have a bit of time after that. So I'm able to work during that time, or maybe I could work just on the weekends, and then during the week I'll just be studying. So it depends on how you put together your timetable, but it's not difficult to combine working with studying.
Okay, thank you very much. And let's dredge off a bit about that. So I'm interested about the agency thing you talked about, right? How do you look for them, and what are the requirements? Is it that they also proof check you whether you are a student, and they check the number of hours you are entitled to work as given by your visa before they finally consider you? Or I want to know what goes on when it comes to that.
Okay. So when it comes to finding an agency to work with, you can find them via a Google search. So you can search on Google for agencies, recruitment agencies nearby in the city that you are in. And this one for me is a better option. Try to link up with other people in school who have been there before you, and then ask them for which agencies they work with or they have heard of. Because I think that's a faster way to get to those agencies, and you are sure that they will take you. Because sometimes you might do a Google search, find an agency, and reach out to them only for them to tell you that we don't take students, or we don't have a lot of jobs available right now, so you have to wait. But then if through other people you are able to get an idea of where they are working, you are likely to get work faster. Yeah, so that's how I would suggest you do your research if it comes to that. Then regarding the documents and blah 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 that they take, so when the agency picks you or when you go there to join them to register, there is a pack that you are to fill with your information and your details, and you have to state it there that you are a student and you can only work a maximum of 20 hours a week. If you don't, and later on it is found out, you might your visa might get revoked and you can even be asked to leave the country because of that, because it is against your visa restrictions. When you get your visa letter, and when you get the stamp in your passport, it is stated there that you can only work 20 hours a week. It is there clearly. You can't hide it. You can try to hide and work more than that, sure. But then when the time comes and they find you, they will find you. So yeah, so you can't, if you decide to hide it, that one, it's not the, should I say, the business of the company you are working with. It's rather you who might end up suffering in the end, because it goes against your visa restrictions. So you are supposed to declare there, like state it clearly that you can only work 20 hours a week. Because bear in mind that when they are paying you, it goes through a system. And the system that it goes through, the home office, as we call it here, can easily get access to your information. So they will see the number of hours you've been working. And if they see that it's more than the 20 that you are entitled to, you might get in trouble. And the trouble that I'm talking about is that you might not be found out, like, should I say, now or during the time of your study. But then when it comes to graduating and when it comes to the ending, the latter part of your studies, that's where you might face the consequences. Yeah, I would strongly advise. I mean, some people might not, because they might want to work more hours to make more money, but then I would strongly advise that you stick to the restrictions that you are given, just so you don't have any trouble with your studies.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, and we would really uphold to that, not to overquote our work durations so that we don't get bounced or anything. Thank you very much, Ms. Georgina. So I'll move on to Dr. Blessing to also hear his thoughts on this. So, Dr. Blessing, you have navigated visa processes on two different continents, right? That is Asia and that of North America. Can you walk us through your visa application process doing both in the Canada and China? Can you walk us through them, how different they were, and some kind of hurdles you came by that you would let us know?
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, and yes, you are right. I have had that experience of, navigating, students visa the process, in Asia and I would say North America. With the visa process in Asia, when I first applied to study in Asia, specifically in China, the process was fairly, I would say, centralized and document based. And I think, the key thing was, admission will be first. I had to secure an official admission letter from my university. And then we call something JW 202 form. So this is a government, issue document used for, student visas. And without it, the application could not, or you cannot proceed. And from there, you just have to get your financial proof, which is very, very important. So like the financial scrutiny, wasn't that, I would say, intense as compared to to Canada or maybe, the US. I submitted a bank statement and, the sponsorship letters, it was fairly okay. And I had to go for a short interview, and then they indicated to me that the visa was approved. And I think they asked me to just in Ghana, I think in Accra, I think cantonment area. It was close to the American embassy area, that place. So that same day, they just indicated to me that I should just pay my visa fees, and that was it. So I think China specifically was pretty much, was very simple. But coming to I mean, the visa process in North America, I mean, it's the scrutiny is very, very high, especially here in Canada. It's very high. And I also applied for my visa in China. So China, they have this SDS stream, but before that, let me just run it through a short. I mean, before that, I applied, for, the PhD program. Before that, I've already even applied for masters. When I applied 2 masters, I think in China and then in Canada. But then the China happens to come early, so I decided to just pick China. And it was later on that I had my masters, admission letter. But I decided that no, I'll just finish with China, and after that, I'll just I will proceed to Canada. So I had admission letter and everything, so I started. Applying and everything, and I'm a person with a very strong faith, So I was praying and also fasting because there were a lot of people who were applying for Canada, and I was hearing the news taking like 9 months and all those sort of things that people were not getting. But thankfully, it took like almost 25 days for me to get a visa and everything. So I would say the scrutiny was very tough. But one thing that I know was that I was able to get the funding, and they sent me a letter of acceptance as well. Recently, I think they've changed their rules right now. Like you have to get a provincial attestation letter. The time that I applied, I did not get anything like that. But now it's mandatory. You have to make sure you get you get a provincial attestation letter before you can you can apply for it. Because I think people were trying to find means and dubious means to get the admission letter. So they decided that now, even if you are accepted, you have to get a provincial attestation letter that comes from the province, the Department of Education, so that you can apply it together with your letter of acceptance by submitting it to the embassy. And also, the proof of funds. So as I indicated, earlier on, I had documents from my dad, and also I had few friends as well, and myself. I had some few savings that I added as well, and I added up the funding that I had from the university. So, and I just explained that I think a statement of purpose, I added it to it as well. And they asked me to go for my, I think, biometrics. Yes, the biometrics came earlier. So I did my biometrics, and then later on they requested for medicals. So I think in 2021, what happened was that if you go for your biometrics and then you go for your medicals, there's a high tendency that they are going to give you the visa. But now it's on the other side. There's one particular colleagues of mine, we're all in China. He applied, he had funding here, the same program that I'm doing. He had the funding and everything. He applied for the visa. They requested him to do the medicals. He did medicals. We were waiting for them to, ask for the passport request, but they denied him. So like things really have really changed now. So I think that is one of the key things that we all have to just look at. I don't know why, but I think that there are many reasons to that, because now there's a cap, that they are looking, I think 437,000 that they are looking in regards to, the TRVs, study permit, and all like the temporary, permits. They are looking up for 437. They've reduced it drastically, unlike 2021. So I think that these are the key things that, for Canada, I think, you have to get your letter of acceptance from the school. Now you have to get your provincial attestation letter. You have to add your proof of funds, statement of purpose. It is very critical. You have to critically look at it, explain why you have chosen that particular program and how it fits. And one thing that I also want to chip in is that sometimes most students will maybe do geography, and then they want to do maybe like, I'll say nursing, or maybe something like in the health sector. You could see that there's a difference. So you have to make sure that you are connecting the dots properly. You get it? Because, instances like that, the officer can refuse you if you are not able to connect it because you did geography. The officer expects that maybe you are doing a master's in geography or something. But if you are turning, or maybe you are trying to do a different program, then you have to make sure that you are explaining things properly, in detail, and also be truthful in what you are indicating, so that they can approve it in that regard. And I think one thing is that you have to show a very strong ties, to your home country, like your family job. If your family, they're having any job, you can also link it to that. Or even if you are having any sort of business back home, or even family, You get it? All those things are some of the key things, or even some community investment or involvement that you've partook in over the years. They help to reassure the visa officers that you are not trying to immigrate, prematurely. So you have to be able to explain things in that regard. So you have to show that you have a very strong ties back home. Not just you showing all the money and everything. And even, sorry, but in 2021, the amount of money that they were looking for was like 10,000. Now it has increased to 20,000. You get it? So all those things are things that you have to, in a way, look at if you are applying for, a school in Canada. And one thing that I also want to say is that getting admitted is just the first step. Now your visa application must tell your story, your purpose, and your potential. And your statement of purpose is your voice on paper. So make it sincere, specific, and strong enough to convince, the immigration officer that you will thrive in Canada. And also you have to start early, double check everything, mixing one document can delay your future. And also make sure that proof of funds is not, just numbers. It's your promise that you can live and learn without financial struggle. And every document you submit is a piece of the puzzle. So if one is weak, the whole picture becomes unclear. And also a successful, a study permit, I always say that a successful study permit application helps you to balance emotion with what? With evidence. That is the dreams with what? With your document. So make sure you are presenting the right document. And never underestimate the power of Of preparation. Have time. The strong facts reflect those serious things. Reflect and make sure you are bringing all of them together. And don't let rejection shake your faith. Let them sharpen your your focus. And immigration officers don't know you. Your application must make them believe in you. And you are not just applying to study. You are applying to grow, to represent, and to return with impact. Thank you.
That is very beautiful, Dr. Blessing. Thank you very much. But I have a follow-up on that. I think you mentioned the medical screening, right? How crucial is that process? Is it that if they discover some, say, medical complications on you, there's a high tendency that you're going to get bounced. I want to know how crucial the health or the medical screening actually, the crucial step is actually played in the visa process. You mean I have all the finances, the school has approved my admission and everything, but now I'm meant to go under, should I say, a medical scrutiny, right? What does the outcome actually affect my visa application or the visa interview? I want to really know much about it.
It does. I'll just make it very simple for you. So Canada don't want you to be like a public health risk, when you come to Canada. Like, for instance, if you have like serious conditions like TB, you get it. There's a tendency that when you come into the country, definitely there are people are also going to People are also going to get, of course, it's kind of airborne. So people will definitely get it. And like if there's any sort of mental health risk, they don't want to put their citizens also in that terrain. You get it. So they want to confirm and know that these kind of conditions you are not. Of course, people might have blood pressure, whatever. Those things it's okay. There are people here who also have said kind of things, but things like maybe TB, and there's one particular thing that I just maybe when I remember, I'll just like TB, and even sometimes if you have even HIV and it's untreated, you get it, like HIV or AIDS that is untreated, they can also base on that to hold you for public health risk. So you are making sure that you are not having all these kind of issues. Because they will want to know and make sure that their people or maybe their citizens are also not at risk in that regard. So yes, medicals really play a very crucial role, and if you're able to sail through the medicals, I think you stand a very high chance of because they know that you're good. So you coming in, there's nothing that they have to they have to worry about. So I think that is the key thing. So yes, it's very crucial, not just a formality, but a necessary condition for approval.
Okay.
And so if you skip it, one thing is that if you skip it, it can cost you your spot even in the program, and it can also delay you as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay. Okay. That's very informative. So I want to know, is it that there you can do it at any should I say given hospital, or the embassy will assign you to a very specific kind of medical center that you need to take your medical screening at?
Yes, rightly so. I mean, for me, I did mine in China, so I think they have a specific, panel physicians that I think when you Google it online, you should be able to see. I think it's in Ghana, it's Adjei. They call it some place Adjei House or something in Accra. I think Adjei House or something like that. So that's the place where you can do it at that place. I think maybe by now there might be a lot of other places that it's like designated panel physicians that is well recognized that you can you can have it done in such location. But I know of Adjei House in Ghana. That's one of the places that if you are in Ghana, you can and even if you go online and you just type it in, you'll be able to see, like, everything will just pop up, Canada, I mean, the kind of hospitals that they liaise with, that you can do your medicals and everything like that. It's online as well. Yeah.
Oh, that is beautiful. Thank you very much, Dr. Blessing, for such an informative response you've given us today with regards to the medical screening and how your experience on applying for visa on these two different continents has actually enhanced your experience. Thank you very much. So I move on to Miss Georgina. So, Miss Georgina, earlier you were mentioning how the Ghanaian community in Bradford actually helped you. I mean, one way or the other, with regards to you writing to the school for a Ghanaian already there for you to ask some questions, and also with the agency you inquiring from the people who are already in the system. So I want to ask you on this: how did you mentally and emotionally adjust to life in the UK? And how so far has the Ghanaian community, whether they've been supportive, or how are you balancing with all those things? So I don't know if you get my question.
Yeah, I get you.
Thank you very much.
Before I answer, from the talk you had with Dr. Blessing, so where you do your medicals in Accra, three different places. So we have the IOM Center. I think it's around Marina Mall, around there, but it's in Accra. Then we have Adjei House. Then we have Wellness Clinic or Center, something like that. So there are three of them. Then in Kumasi as well, we have the Wellness and the IOM Center. So you have to go to either one when you are doing your medicals.
No, that's beautiful.
I just wanted. Yes. And regarding settling in here, well, it has not been easy. It has not been easy at all. Well, for me, it's not been easy because before coming here, I thought when you come to abroad and you get your job, you'll be making money whilst you are schooling, everything will be going well. You finish school, then you get a very, very good paying job and just be enjoying life. Because that's what I had been seeing and hearing about. But then coming here, I was met with reality, and reality is far from that. So with the Ghanaian community, so here we have the Ghanaian Student Society, that is the Ghanaians in the school. Then we also have the Ghanaian community itself, which is the Ghanaians who have settled in Bradford. So there are two of them. So right now, because I'm a student, I'm part of the Student Society. And they've been quite helpful so far. They organize events throughout the year. And aside that, we have a WhatsApp page where we interact and stuff like that. When there are issues, when there's any new information, whether regarding immigration issues or the school or anything, even job opportunities and stuff like that, they share it there. If you need help with anything at all, you can put it on the page. Someone will reach out to you. If you are looking for accommodation or whatever it is, they have it on there. So through that, I've been able to make a few friends and I've gotten close to some people that I hang out with sometimes, and yeah. But because of how the system is here, it's most of the time it's either you are working or you are schooling. You rarely get time to chill and relax and cool down. So it can get a bit lonely and a bit sad at times, because in Ghana there's more time. Maybe you work Monday to Friday, then on the weekend you can decide to unwind and go and do something. But here is not the case. Sometimes someone can be working on Sunday or on Saturday, like the whole day, or in the night they have a night shift, so they don't have the time to, unless maybe you go on a holiday or you have like a vacation. So yeah, it's not been too easy, but then it's been manageable. I mean, I'm getting used to it. So yeah.
That's beautiful for sharing your experience adjusting over there. So is it that you already knew about them before that, or it was when you got there that you had to ask about the Ghanaian community? And for maybe an introvert listening, how should such a person go about it? And also with dealing with people, of different cultures and different background. We know that we are all from Ghana, right? What is the strategy would advise to such a person, and why would you recommend an introvert to actually participate or adjust fully into this Ghanaian community you talked about?
Okay, so when I was in Ghana doing my research towards schooling in UK, one of the um one of the information that I tried to gather was about the lifestyle here and about the people here. And I did that through social media. I tried to find if the University of Bradford had any social media pages, and I further went to search for if there are there are any Ghanaians here and whether they had any social media. I did an in-depth research. So through that, I was able to find that they had an Instagram page. That is the Ghanaian students here. They had an Instagram page where they were posting different things that they were doing, and it looked really fun and cool. So through that again, I was able to find some members there, and I reached out to them. I texted them on Instagram and I told them that my name is Georgina and I have applied, I've gained admission. I'm hoping to come later in the year. And that can they tell me this, that, how is this like and stuff like I was asking questions. And luckily for me, they were open and willing to give me the information. So that really helped, especially when it came to getting ready, packing and all that. They really helped. So yeah, and regarding your second question, about an introvert. So when you come here, I would say that um your introvertedness you should try to overcome it when you come here, because already here majority of the time with how the weather is, and it's not like I was saying earlier, you don't always get time to hang out with people and chill and stuff like that. So when you get the opportunity, you have to take advantage of it. So if you are someone who is shy and you don't like to go out, it's fine. But then I'll just say that when you come, the way the environment is, you would you would come out of it. You wouldn't become an extrovert all of a sudden, no. But then you would want to talk to people and you would want to be in the midst of other people. So with what I said, with the fact that we have a WhatsApp page and with our link ups and stuff like that, I would advise that you start from there. So if you see that, okay, maybe they are organizing a party, or for example, usually on 6th March, the Independence Day, they usually organize something regarding that. I would suggest attending to meet other people, to try to communicate and vibe, like talk to people and get over here. We don't see things such as culture and blah blah tribes and no. We are all Ghanaians. So that's just how we view each other. You are a Ghanaian, I'm a Ghanaian. It doesn't matter where we come from in Ghana. But once we've come here, we are all Ghanaians. So we are kind of like a family here. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's that try to attend events. Sometimes they have seminars, they have talks, and regarding academics, regarding how to do certain things. So it will just be a good idea to put yourself out there, because you never know which opportunities you might also get from doing that. And I would assume that you have an aim for coming here. If you have an aim for coming here, one way of achieving that aim is to be with other people, talk to people, try to get ideas and learn from them about life here. I hope you get me. So
I
yeah,
get
that's
you.
one.
I get you. Thank you very much for sharing this with us. We are very much grateful, and I mean it's quite inspirational knowing that there are communities, Ghanaian communities out there. Because if you go outside the country and you hear people speaking tree, the kind of joy it gives alone is something else. So thank you very much for sharing that. So we move on to ask Dr. Blessing some few questions. Also, Dr. Blessing, I want us to talk about the issue of health insurance, right? You know, you can get everything right. And recently I read a post on LinkedIn, the person has everything, but then the health insurance for the person to actually get it prevented a person from achieving or going up to the school that the person got. So I want to know, were there any specific visa or immigration hurdles that you face when after arriving or before arriving in Canada? Like something like maybe you had to renew your permit or access health insurance, and how did you actually deal with such hurdles when they came to you?
Oh, wait, hold on. This one.
Okay.
Rob, hold on. Robert, I'm having a meeting, okay? I'll just come, okay? I'm having a meeting here, okay? When I'm done, I'll just see you, okay? Hold on. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So, for me personally, I think what Canada have, I mean, different provinces, and I am in Saskatchewan. And one thing is that when you don't need to pay any money or whatsoever, because I mean, when you are able to get your study permits and then you get your identity card, you can use your identity card to apply for your, your health insurance. Okay. So as a student, I mean, you are allowed to have your own personal physician here in Canada. So, like for instance, aside the school, the university, if you are sick or you are having any sort of issue or whatsoever, you can go to the university and then I mean they can just what they can, look at you, make sure they attend to you. But if you don't like it there as well, you can also go to other clinics or other hospitals out there because the government is going to provide you with a health insurance card as an international student. You don't need to do anything. It's automatic, So Canada does not automatically, like, I would say, offer just any ordinary person like a health insurance card, right? But you are an international student. You get it? So as an international student in my province, there are other provinces are a little bit different, But in my province, like Saskatchewan and also I think British Columbia, it covers everything as an international student. You get it? So for me personally, I have my insurance card and it's tied to my study permit. So the time or the day that my study permit is going to expire, I have to make sure if I want extension, I have to apply 3 months before. You get it? So I'll apply for the extension of my study permit. And when it comes, I can renew my insurance card again. But I don't need to pay any other money. The only thing is that if your study permit is genuine, if your study permit have, a lot of duration, you're good. Because everything that you're doing is tied to your what? Your study permit is tied to your insurance. I don't know whether if you are getting what I'm trying to say. You get it? Unless maybe there are instances where you yourself want to purchase a private health insurance, which is different. But for me, even if you're a student and you want to do surgery, whatever, that card that you are having gives you access to what? To do it freely. You don't need to pay anything.
Okay. Thank you. And I've heard of stories of people who actually got bounced because of their health insurance, right? Can you tell me, with the one that you said it's tied to your student permit, are there situations where you can be required to do a private health insurance before getting your visa? I don't know if you get me with this question.
I mean, so you are talking of, I mean, somebody who is applying from, okay, so let me just give you this scenario. Australia, if you are going to Australia, okay, you need to get a travel insurance, I mean, a health insurance before you get in there. I have a friend who actually, I think he graduated recently from University of Tasmania. So when we were in China, he applied for his second PhD as well. So when he was going, he was asked to, get, I mean, the insurance. He was supposed to pay like 15,000 for what? For insurance. I didn't, I mean, in Canada is different. You get it? So like every country have different, the way their immigration system works. You get it? So in Canada, specifically in my province where I am, maybe other provinces might be different, but I know that when it comes to insurance, I'm like, I mean, if you want to go to hospital or whatever, it's free. But I think you are looking at it from the perspective of maybe you coming from Ghana to, let's say, Canada, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Actually I've not made that research, but I think that like as I said, I mean, Australia is different. Australia, you have to get it before you get there. If you don't get it before you get to Australia, I mean, they will not even give you the visa in the first place. But in Canada, it's not mandatory that you have to get, I mean, like a health insurance before you get what? You get into the country. You get what I'm trying to say? Because I didn't go through that route. Actually, that's what I'm saying. That when you come, it's unless when you get a visa and then you come here, then all these documentation you have to do with getting your I mean, if like your identity card, from your identity card, you can use it to apply for your driver's license. You can use it to also apply for your medical, I mean, insurance card as well. So when you get here, then you'll be able to do all those things. But maybe you trying to get insurance, maybe if it's like an international insurance or whatever, which probably I've not made research on that, so I might not be able to speak more on that. But what I know is that when you get here, you get access to what? An insurance, I mean, card that is what? Connected to your study permit, the time that is supposed to expire. And when it expires and you renew it, you can also renew your medical card as well. So that's how it works.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doc, for this. Okay. So, Ms. Georgina, I want to ask for your perspective on this too. Did you have to also do a student health insurance before getting your visa?
Yes, it's part of the process. So
okay,
when
and
go
how was
on,
that? Okay, so
sorry.
so please, you can go on.
Okay. So with the application process for the visa, you go on the UK government website to apply, and after filling the forms and everything, when paying for it, in fact, before you pay your application fee, you have to pay for your IHS fee. That's your health surcharge fee before you can apply for the visa. So if you don't pay for it, you can't apply for the visa. And the amount for applying for the health fee is again in relation to how long you'll be staying here. So just like the amount you need on your bank statement. When you go on the website, the amount is there, and there's actually a calculator there. So you calculate the amount, the rough amount that you need, then you pay that on the website.
And that is beautiful. So is it that the health insurance company is already in the host country, or that company is in Ghana? I don't really get this.
Okay. So the payment you are making, it's so that when you come here, the healthcare you'll be receiving here from their health agency, not from Ghana, but here rather.
Okay.
They will be providing it to you for free in a sense, because you are paying before coming. So the whole time you'll be spending any medical treatment that you need. And it's all stated on the website, the type of medical treatments you can get under the payment
package.
So yeah, the package. So you can't, it's not every, for example, if I wear glasses, so if I want to change my glasses or I want to get my eyes checked, it's not part of the fee. I have to pay something extra. But if it's something like maybe a medical checkup, blood test, or anything that is sort of more regular and falls under the payments you've made, you can freely go to your, here we call it your GP or your general practitioner. So you go there, you let them know you are a student here, this is your student card, blah, blah, blah. Then they will take you through the process and you do whatever you have to do. So yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay. Thank you for elaborating by this particular thing for me, because I read about it sometimes that people actually get bounced because of the health insurance issue. You will get everything right, but you wouldn't be able to go after the study because you don't make the health insurance package or anything. All right. Thank you very much. So my question for you today is as one thing.
Can I
Okay.
take on that?
Okay.
So regarding this health issue you are talking about, I know that when you are applying for a Schengen visa, when you're applying for a Schengen visa, it's not healthcare, but it's insurance that you have to get. If you don't have the insurance, you might get bounced. But for healthcare, that one, it's part of the process. Like you pay for it, depending on the country. So you would have to pay for it in order to be to get your visa. Do you get me?
Okay.
So it's not you can't say you won't do it. It's part of it. The same way with the medicals that you have to do. It's part of the documents that you have to present in order to get your visa.
Oh,
So I
okay.
just
Okay.
so most of the time, the insurance that some people might be on the fence of like doing it if it's required for the visa you are applying for. But as for the healthcare, because it's the country you are going to, they are the ones going to provide that healthcare for you. It's not from your country. So you have to pay in advance for them to provide the healthcare when you get there.
Okay.
But then if it's insurance, that one is from your country. So in case anything happens to you, you've been insured by a company that they will cover for the damages or whatever it is.
Okay. That is beautiful. Okay, so it means that the company, the insurance company, isn't specified by the, should I say, the embassy, but you would independently look for it in the host country, then submit the necessary information to the visa application committee. Is that the case?
Yes, exactly. Yes. So you have to find one, but then usually with some of the application processes, they might specify an amount of money that your insurance package should meet, or what the rules might be there. So you would have to now find an insurance. And another thing too is that they might also specify the companies they accept the insurance from. Because, for example, when I was traveling, I used KLM. KLM is an airline, and it passes through Netherlands, Amsterdam in Netherlands. And before you can get your visa for that, you need an insurance. You need insurance, yes. So I had to apply for it. And on their website, they had a list of companies I could apply to. So I picked one. Luckily, I recognized one of the companies because I knew someone who was working there. Then I reached out to them and they told me about their packages. And then I picked the one I could afford at the time and I was able to get it. So I added it to my documents when I was applying for that visa. Because when you are passing through Netherlands, you need a visa to go there. So I had to get that visa, and one of the documents I needed was the insurance document. So once I got the package, I applied for it. I added it to my documents, and yeah, I got my visa. Then I was able to travel. I passed through there before I got to the UK. So yeah.
Thank you very much for that and sharing your experience with that. But my question up for you now is, as someone who is actually passionate about women in finance, right? How do you think more Ghanaian women can be encouraged and guided to apply for opportunities abroad?
Okay, so do you mean graduate school in general or just with the finance side?
You can limit it to the finance aspects if that is what, but you can anyhow you want to take it. I'll be very grateful to hear from you.
Okay, that's fine. So one thing that I think has sort of kept me going and not giving up is the fact that I don't take no as a definite answer. So I take it as if I come to you for something and you tell me no, I see it as okay, then I can't get it from you. I can get it from someone else. So that's what has kept me going and fighting and trying to be better in the space that I am in. So, and with finance, it's quite, I wouldn't say tricky, but then we don't have a lot of women in the, especially in the top management in most finance companies. We don't have a lot of women making a lot of decisions up there. It's mostly male dominated. So it kind of discourages you as someone who wants to rise up in that industry. But all I'll say is that don't be don't be frightened and don't get scared. Like, just keep going. You know you are smart. You know you can make it, because there are people who have passed through it and are still fighting. They are still trying to climb up the ladder. So all you have to do is just keep going. As a young lady, it doesn't matter your stature, how you look, or once you know what you know, that you have the knowledge and the understanding, just keep applying and keep communicating, networking with people, and keep going. One day, somebody will say yes. A door will open, an opportunity will come, and you grab it, and you'll be so glad that you did. So that's what I'll say about that. Because over here, with the banking and finance industry, it's not easy to break into the industry. It's very, very competitive. And there are a lot of opportunities there, but it's so competitive. And then you being a female to kind of limits you or restricts you at times. But that shouldn't be a barrier. For me personally, I don't see it as a barrier, because before even coming, I applied to join the graduate program and they accepted me. Even though I'm a female, they accepted me. So meaning that they saw a potential, they saw it in my application, they saw that I could add something, add value to the program, and they accepted me. So once I'm here, all I have to do is just keep trying and keep applying myself and the knowledge that I have, and I know that one day I'll make it. I'll also make it up there. So that's what I'll say. That you two just keep going on, continue learning, reading, watching different videos, and just utilizing different resource materials you have, and keep bettering yourself. Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving us these encouraging words of yours. You are very much grateful, and our female audience are very great to always look up to you and what you are doing to impact them in this way. Thank you very much. So I have a question for Dr. Blessing. So most students, or basically, well, I don't know whether it's just me, people think graduate school kind of give you the leverage to start your life outside, right? So to Japan in a way, okay? So after you finish your NSS, either maybe graduate school outside, or you continue with the work you are doing if you are lucky to maintain. And people also think Canada is kind of a soft landing, meaning that you can get there easily, right? So how can applicants actually make a case that they are genuinely going there to study and not necessarily to migrate there? Hello, Dr. Blessing.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Wow, that's a good question, actually. I mean, I think that one thing that we have to make, I mean, the line that we have to draw is that we have to be honest, with ourselves. That is the key thing. I mean, in as much as I always say that the visa officers, they always know that we have an intent that most people will not come back. They have that intention. You get it? Until you've been able to, prove yourself properly to them that, yes, genuinely you are good. But yeah, I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of people here, my brother, that they came on the ticket of on the study permit that they are coming to study. But the kind of jobs that they are doing, the last time I met a lady said, my brother, me, I'm not going anywhere. This school thing, I'm not even going to continue. So you see, people have different mindset altogether. She was being more realistic with me, like being more, blunt. And she's working full time. You get it? She's making her money. And when it's, people have the perception that when, let's say, they've been able to get 2 years of permit. So when the 2 years elapses, what they will do is that they will go seek for asylum. And then Canada, being, as you said, being soft in a way to just allowing people to stay, they try to also help them in that regards. It's not all people that it works for them. So it's not something that I'll recommend. But I think that back to your question, I'll say that we have to be honest and also be strategic in our statement of purpose. If you are coming here specifically to study, you have to make sure that you study. And you see, one thing is that it's very good. It's even to your advantage. Graduate, get your PGWP. So if you came here, if you did masters for 1 year, they are going to give you PGWP for 3 years. And within the 3 years, the company that you are working with can help you to get your documents. You get a Canadian experience. They will just give you a work permit. Approval letter. It can go through. They have a lot of routes. It can go through the provincial program. It can even be through express entry. There are so many things that you can go through. You get it for you to get your PR. But if you come and then you have the intention that, okay, yes, I don't want to go to school again. Maybe I'm fed up, or maybe I don't even have the fees or stuff like that. I cannot change people. It will keep on going on. People have different perspective. People have different meaning. And some people are going through hard time even back home. Maybe they are the people supporting their family. You don't know, right? So sometimes I'm not able to just say that maybe this is the right way, or let's say there's a blueprint that everybody has to, but everybody's story is different. But one thing that I always advise is that if you are coming here to study. When you are done, by God's grace, you apply for your PGWP. That's the postgraduate work permit. You are entitled to 3 years. Within the 3 years, by God's grace, you'll be able to get the Canadian experience. And then through that, you can also enter into maybe the SEC Canadian Express class, or maybe the Express Entry. There are provincial SIMP. There are so many provincial, many programs that you can you can apply, and you can go through that route. And by God's grace, you might also get what people came through that route. They've been able to also get it. So I think that for me personally, I will not condemn anybody, but I think that if you are coming here genuinely to study, come here and then study. You get it? Because if you are not even more, that's why now they are cutting the cap, and it's affecting even people back home in Ghana, because when they come back here, and instead of them to study, they end up just doing different things altogether, like working. And IRCC have been able to recently, I think that was last year, they were able to bring the statistics, the number of students who are going to school, and then the number of students who are not going to school. They were able to get all the statistics, and then they published it. You get it? So when it happens like that, it affects those who have that intention to come to. Yes, Canada is nice. Canada is good. Jobs, yes. It's not like when you come, you get a job like that, as people will have it. You get it? But I think even in any country, that's how it is. But yes, there are a lot of opportunities. That one I could say for sure. But then I think that if you come, get that Canadian experience by way of you studying the education and also getting the experience, by God's grace, you'll be able to fit in the system, rather than going through some other right. So for me, that is what I will say. So the primary reason is that academic and professional development is the key thing that is bringing you here. So you have to understand that, and then make sure that you get that one done. And by God's grace, things will also fall in place for you when you are done. And you can still apply for your PR, later. Or even within your there's one particular lady that she graduated recently, and by God's grace, she was in my department. She's She's now working in one of the very reputable insurance companies. She did her master's. She even came on she wanted to do the thesis, but then she decided that no, she wanted to do just the capstone. So the capstone is not like intense in terms of what thesis or other stuff. So she did that one. Now she's working, she's paid well. And things are moving on. And they've even invited her to apply. Sorry. They even selected her to just to apply. Sorry, getting a call here. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So they even invited her to just to apply. They've even invited, I think, like twice, for her to apply for her PI. So what that I'm trying to say is that we should just try as much as possible. Yes, as we come, the main premise for we coming here, we should try and accomplish that. And I think everything will be okay. So thank you. I think I will have to sign out. I'm very sorry, but I'll have to just sign out right now because I have other meeting that I have to also join. So I don't know if there's any question. I can take it before I go.
Yeah. So I think that was the last but one question. But before you go, we wanted to ask you one last question. If you were to coach students new to all these, what are 3 things you would tell such a person?
I think that I even gave you a lot of things. I said that I indicated at first that yes, your statement of purpose is your voice on paper. So make it sincere and be specific and strong enough to convince an immigration officer you will thrive in In Canada. And also start early. Double check everything. Even missing one particular document can delay your future. And also, don't let rejection shake your faith. Let them sharpen your focus. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, and it was really great having you here. So, Miss Georgina, the same question to you also. If you were to coach someone, what are something that from your experience you would advise such a person? Maybe someone wanting to walk the same journey you thwarted before you got to the UK. What are some of the some 3 things or any kind of general advice that you would give to such a person before we sign up?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is to do your research. Like do in-depth research about where you are going to study, about your course, about the school. Do your research and make sure that your interests align with where you are going to, and your end goal also aligns with the place you are going to. Don't just be moved by the masses and what you've heard and just apply for that because you've heard it's like this, like that. No, do your own research and find out whether it's true or not, whether what you want is truly with that place. Then you do your application and you start and do all that. Yes. And another thing that I'll say is kind of in line with what Doc was saying, that is to start early. In addition to that, plan out how you want your journey to be like, and then start the process. Start the process as early as you can. Don't wait it out or think that, oh, I've heard this, so let me, no. Because regarding that, I'll give an example. So for me personally, like I mentioned, I got my admission in January of 2024. As soon as I got my admission, the next step was finding funding. I started searching, going up and down, looking for funding, different ways to fund my studies. And I was able to secure some by, I think, April. Yes. As soon as I got my funding, next step was visa process. So I started the visa process right away because before then I had done my research about how much I'm likely to spend on the visa fees, the health surcharge, my ticket fees and all that. So I just I continued. I did the visa process. I did everything by myself, mind you. I didn't go to anybody anywhere. I did it all by myself, and
That's beautiful.
thank you. I was able to secure the visa after 3 days of applying. I applied within 3 days, I got my visa. And once I got the visa, I bought the ticket just a few days after. And I was done. I was through. And all I had to do was to pack, get ready, then leave the country whenever I had decided to. So the reason why I say I agree with that, with what Doc said about starting early, is that, you know, we during the year we have um peak times, regarding visa applications. So there are some times during the year where a lot of people apply to go and study abroad or for visiting or whatever the case may be. And there are times where people don't really travel much. So if you decide to wait till when people are traveling, and you know very well that, let's say you are starting school in September, you have to be there by the ending of August. Then you wait and you go and apply for your visa in July, when you know other people too might be traveling around that time. Definitely your visa will delay. So if you start the visa process early enough, your application, you get your admission, everything, then you just continue. And let's say by April, May, thereabouts, you've gotten everything in line, you have your visa, you'll be okay. You know definitely that if you decide to leave the country in August, you are set to go. Do you get me? So start
Yes.
early enough so that nothing will delay you. Then you will be able to live on your own terms. You don't have to wait for anything, running helter skelter and starting the academic year in the middle. Once everyone has started, and you are now coming like a month or two later. No. So start everything early enough so that you can plan it out. There will be no panic. You do everything smoothly, easily, then you are good to go. So those are the two things. And the third thing, regarding the whole process, is that um don't have too many expectations. um be open-minded, to be open to experiencing everything, because again, like I mentioned earlier about the kind of perception I had before coming, I came here and it was so different. If I was someone else, I might have gotten, let's say, depressed or unhappy or blah blah blah, because it's not what I expected. But then I sort of made myself understand that I'm here for a purpose, so I have to stick to it. You get me? So as you are coming, be open yourself up that whatever you end up experiencing here, you would grab it, you would understand it, and try to work with it. So so that when you come here, if it's more than you expected, then you are cool. If it's less than you are cool. So just have minimal expectations and be open to learning and experiencing whatever you meet over here, or whichever country you end up going to. And also with the culture and the people, be open to learning and communicating with different people, because since I came here, I've met people from different countries. Their accents are different, the way they behave is so different. Their food, it's not what I'm used to. But then I wouldn't say that I've never eaten this before, so I'm not willing to try. No, you've come to a new place. You have to open up to whatever they are doing and try to understand them. Then you share your own as well. So if you are telling me that this is what you eat, me too, this is what I eat, then it's just nice, it's beautiful. So yeah, those are the three pieces of advice that I would give.
Thank you very much, Miss Georgina, and to all our panelists, those who have dropped up and everything. We are very much grateful for you. And please, kindly sorry for the on and off, the distortion with the panelists and everything. Okay, we are we are apologizing for that. The time wasn't really favorable. Ideally, we should have done it on Sunday, but due to one or two things, we had to shift it forward so that we don't lose everything, the value that we have received today. Okay, so please kindly pardon us for that on such grounds. So thank you very much once again for joining. So I'll call on Elvis to give us the announcements that we need. And remember, today is week 7, so next week will be the very last. So please, I don't want you to miss this. We've come too far for you to miss the last gist of the conversation we'll be having. So Elvis, please, if you're online, kindly unmute and let us hear from you.
All right. Thank you so much, Nicholas. I think I've said already. Thank you all for making time. This week it was quite difficult for us as a committee because we had to fix things to make sure this week's session happens. So far, this bootcamp is almost coming to an end. But if today is the first time you are joining, no worries. We have a YouTube channel called ITI-CCR UG Local. If you are part of our WhatsApp channel, WhatsApp group too, I'm sure Audrey will share the link very soon to the WhatsApp group. And we share the I'll share the uploaded recording there. So if you have missed all the past sessions, don't worry, we have got you. What we ask of you is that when you go and watch the videos, kindly like the videos and subscribe so that it goes far. We want a lot of people to hear about it. And in subsequent weeks, we will be making YouTube shorts from the videos and even making some a podcast. So please, let's endeavor. The link is in the group. Let's endeavor to join the group. And next week, we'll be finalizing the whole application process. And Mr. Nicholas has someone special for us. We're going to get a few sets of diverse people to help us. How do you prepare for interviews? How do you finalize anything? There could be a chance for a last seminar after the 8th one. We are still seeing. During our last week session, Mr. Roger was saying we should have a session to teach us how we can survive even as graduate students, some side hustles we could do. And we are even considering. So maybe we could get Mr. Roger and my dearest mother, Georgina, to take that session because they are very good in that area, so they can help us. I'm still in the line and we can't confirm that one with you yet. But please, can you do well to tell others about our meetings? Kindly tell others about you're talking about applying to school abroad and all these things. If you have any questions, do well to reach out to any of the moderators, Nicholas, anyone. We are ready to help you at any time. Feel free, and we'll share the recording with you. Next week, God willing, we go back to our Sunday schedules. Hopefully, our speakers will confirm, and then we can have our last session, conditional last session for this bootcamp. We are so grateful for making time to journey with us all these past 7 weeks. You know, it hasn't been easy, but you have been consistent. And that's what makes us very, very grateful for this opportunity. Please do well to post about this bootcamp on LinkedIn, other social media platforms, so that people hear about it. We want to get over 500 people in our WhatsApp group. Right now, we are approaching 400, and it's very great. So please do well to spread the news so that people hear about the efforts we are putting over here. Aside that, this week our prayer meeting continues online, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And on Saturdays, there's a session in the morning with our alumni where they talk about some specific topics. Aside that, that's all our announcements for today. And thank you all for making time to join today's session. And Mr. Nicholas, I'm done.
All right, thank you very much, Elvis. And exactly what you said is what I'm going to repeat. We've come too fast for you to meet the last day, okay? And 7 weeks, that is almost a month and more, almost 2 months, okay? So please do all to help us by sharing our flyers with on your status. Just do that for us, okay? We are putting up this free resource and this free value to impact. So we want to widen our scope, okay? So I always do one thing. I think I started doing it lately. So those available on the call, please, I would like you to turn on your camera. We take a very nice group picture for memories, okay, so that we can actually move on. So kindly turn on your camera and let us look at your face. Always, can you help me by taking the picture? Because I'm only seeing gallery. I want a grade mode, okay, so that we can take the group picture.
I'm coming. I'm stopping the PowerPoint slide.
Georgina.
Please give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
Hey, 1 minute.
Yes, I think I'm having difficulty sharing. Let me try doing something here. Yeah, when I do this, then I'll stop the recording, stop sharing.
Okay.
And I think we should be back. So I'll not spotlight Miss Georgina again. Please, when you're mute, I'll spotlight all those who have shared their full camera.
Oh, sure. I think this is good.
Please, 1 minute.
Should we smile yet?
Yes, so, please, the others, you can unmute if you are not happy. On it. Evening.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I was able to take one. All right. Okay, no, episode, you can take again. Yeah.
I'm coming. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done.
All right. Thank you very much to everyone for joining us again. See you next week on Sunday. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Engineer Alfred and everyone.